Everybody, thanks for joining me. I'm very excited to be here today to share you some tips about how to create some effective messaging and strategy. First, I just want to share some really exciting updates. We were at the Simply Parent Conference this weekend in Fort Collins, Colorado. It went incredibly well. I was able to give a talk about what it's like to go through being an erased child. Now, I've gone through a very tough divorce. I myself don't consider myself an ex-alienated kid, though I went through maybe 5% of the pain that an alienated child goes through, an erased child goes through. And that has definitely helped me to understand what the kids are going through. And I always think if I went through 5% of the pain they went through, because the other woman on the panel, when she tried to reach out to her dad, her mother put her in foster care. The mother allowed her to be abused by the stepdad. So stuff that was much worse than my own experience. But just being put in the middle of a conflict can be very harmful and damaging to children. And it definitely was to me, and it's harmful to a lot of the kids who I've talked to. So I think this is important as we move forward, that a lot of the reforms we want, such as default 50-50 shared parenting, a reform of child support, so it's not determined by overnights, but by the expense of the kid, hopefully the government filling in the rest if the parents are too poor. Having non-adversarial family courts, this is super important. That lawyers and judges, I don't think, should be involved in the majority of divorce cases. It should not be winner-loser. It should not be adversarial. It should be working towards solutions. The state and the courts, if the courts exist, they should be able to provide free mental health care services, able to triage families, and have effective mediation services on site. Effective mediation, not mediation that you can just go and waltz out of. And here's the thing, those reforms will benefit all families, not just erased families, not just alienated families, or whatever term you want to use. They will benefit all of the children whose parents are divorced. So I think this is very important when we talk about the changes we want, to always say that these will benefit all of the families going through who are divorced or separated, or have never been married and want to work on how to share custody and visitation of the kids. So, and I also met a lot of great folks there. And if you haven't already, go to simplyparent.org. I'm going to type this in. And what's nice about Simply Parent is, and this is why also I'm not starting support groups, they have support groups that you can start in your own community. I know there's one in Fort Collins, Colorado. I know there's one in Los Angeles. But the way that they are setting them up is that anybody can start one. They're member run. So you don't need to wait for a therapist. It's a place for you to get together and share your feelings. And that is so important, because what we're going to be talking about today, which is effective messaging, if you're going to be talking to politicians or the media, it is not a way for you to do therapy. It is not a way to help your own case. Of course, your motivation is your own children, but it is not a venting session. It is not to get somebody to listen to you. It is not to see if somebody can help you in your specific case. Which is why I always say to talk about how many people are affected, not just you. Never lead with your own story. And if you mention your story, mention it very briefly. I'm an erased mom. I haven't seen my daughter for 5 years because the custody and visitation order is never followed by the judge. It's not just me. I know personally of 8 other families going through this in our small town, and there are more than 22 million parents who are being erased from their children's lives across the United States alone. Some other good news for my Canadian listeners. We are working very hard behind the scenes to get a similar poll funded in Canada. So hopefully we will have Canadian numbers in the near future. I'm sure they'll be very similar to the US numbers, but I'm glad that we'll get Canadian numbers as well to start to show how global this problem is. And when you're talking about this issue, you have to be able to explain it in 20 words or less, 5 words or less or better. Hi, Rick Tobin. Hi, Ian Serrano. Nice to see you. So I was going through famous slogans of marketing. And one very famous slogan was created to help Margaret Thatcher get elected in the early 80s. I am not a Margaret Thatcher fan. I don't like her at all. I lived in Argentina for 13 years, and she was much hated by the local populace and much hated by the British populace. So this is to show how effective messaging can even help an evil bitch get elected. And what they did in the case of Margaret Thatcher is they created a slogan called Labor, I'm going to use the British spelling, isn't working. Labor is the Labor Party, and the irony of that slogan is labor, which means to work, isn't working. And that summed up the campaign that got Margaret Thatcher elected in 3 words. So we need to create something as powerful as that in a few words sums up what we want. And I want to hear your ideas and suggestions for what would an effective slogan be to talk about this issue. In as few as words as possible, that is as broad as possible. Now, as you saw with my example, labor isn't working, to refer to the Labour Party in England, obviously, you know, politics is much more complex, laws are much more complex, politicians are much more complex than 3 words. But what is an effective slogan? Hi, Iris. Hi, Mary. So remember, I am not here to feed you answers, but to help come up with something really good, and I hope you guys will come up with something better than I can come up with. So if anybody has a slogan, just type it in and I'll read it out. And just to recap for the people who joined late, we were at the Simply Parent Conference in Fort Collins, Colorado this weekend, met a lot of great folks. And I posted the link there, and I suggest you go on their webpage and sign up to start a support group if you're in need of a support group. So let's throw out some ideas. So when we use the word erased, we use the word families, we can use the word children, kids, courts, shared parenting, both, right, deserve. Can anyone come up with a sample slogan that we can use? Our children are missing. That was Mary. That's a good start. One of my concerns is that it sounds like missing children in a way. And also, you can't say it unless your child is missing. So what is a slogan that anyone could use to talk about this issue? Rick said, uniting families who were divided, isolated, and controlled. So Rick, I'm going to throw it back to you. And can you do that without qualifiers, like those little words like who were, and picking only one word? I'm going to maybe suggest using erased, just because that's the word that we're using, but something really, really short. Something that can go on my t-shirt, like it says right now, 1 word, 2 words, 3 words. So what can I put here that people just get? Any ideas? We already had 2. Anybody else want to chime in with an idea? Elvin, do you want to chime in with an idea? You have some great ideas, and I know that you're doing a lot behind the scenes to reunite with your daughter. So maybe you have a suggestion that you want to share with us. So I'm thinking to go off of Rick's slogan, uniting families who are divided, isolated, and controlled, or else something like uniting erased families, or uniting families erased by the divorce courts. Those are I've kind of come up with that before, so I'm looking to see if there's something new. A lot of people say, well, it's not the courts. They're not called divorce courts. Yeah, but if you say uniting families erased by the family courts, it becomes a bit of a mouthful and a bit of confusing. We can also use family courts, but then we'd have to say like kids and parents or something. Mine Too, similar to Me Too movements, applies to both parents. Mine Too sounds a little possessive, like the kid's mine too. So Mary says uniting erased families. Uniting erased families. Everyone likes uniting erased families. Okay, that's good. We can also take this in another direction if someone wants to use another word. It's very hard, and I'm also, you know, to be clear, we might come up with a slogan another day. It's good to sleep on this. Maybe you guys will private message me on the Erasing Family website. Oh, everyone likes uniting erased families. Okay, well, that's kind of easy. But think about it. Ask people, you know, in your lives what they think about it. Sleep on it. And just to, you know, so that was a very short chat. Love it. If there's any more questions or comments, let me know. And I also want to give you guys a sneak peek of what's going to happen next week. A lot of people have said that they want to get involved in a very concrete way to help promote the film. So we're going to be starting our ambassador program. Next week, we're going to put up a link on our website, a form to sign out. We're also going to be talking about this in next week's video chat. And it's going to be very easy. You sign up to become an ambassador, and you will get about 3 hours of training, of high quality training. I'm already creating the videos. Some of the videos that you watch, others will be live webinars. Where we will be able to give feedback, and you'll be in a group, and you will learn how to bring this message into your communities in an effective manner. And you will learn how to get local high schools, universities, parent-teacher associations, bar associations, family courts, Rotary clubs, churches, mosques, temples, community centers, union halls, you name doctors' offices, you name it, to show the film. Now, what's great about this is that this is a concrete thing you can do in your community to start spreading awareness, because by going with the brochure that we will give you, talking about the film, you're raising awareness, and you don't have to talk about your own case. You're not asking someone to personally help you. You will be able to sense what people are going through, and also you're asking them to show a movie. You're not saying, I need you to write a law, I need you to read a book, I need you to go to this 10-hour seminar. You're saying, hey, do you guys show films around issues affecting the community? Because there's one that's coming out in 2019, and we think it would be a great fit for your programming. And not only will we be able to show the film, but bring in local experts to talk about this, local families, because the film is going to be available online. So if you want to watch it in your own home, that's going to be an option, and most people will do that. But if we can get people to watch the film together, debate about the film, talk about it, and we are more than welcome if people don't agree with the film. And people who watch the film will see that we do get all sides of the story. We talk to people who don't agree with us at all. This will all be in the film. And I talked to somebody, so we were at the AFCC conference, and that's the Association of Family and Conciliatory Courts, and all the judges and lawyers and mediators and psychologists who work in family courts are there. It was 2 weeks ago in Washington, D.C., and we got 110 judges, lawyers, mediators, psychologists to sign up to say they're interested in showing the film. And the film is critical of family court. It's not everything is great. It's pretty critical. So by changing how we message, we are able to get people who we are criticizing to engage, to debate, to look for solutions together, which is the whole point of what we're doing here. It's not to create enemies. I always say I don't have enemies. I just have friends who I haven't met yet and haven't been able to talk to yet. And when you come with a message of positivity, let's create change. Let's find out what solutions could work in our community. Talking to politicians. Family court has a huge backlog. People are very dissatisfied with this, and it costs people a ton of money. The people who go to family court, it also costs the taxpayers a lot of money. We could save so much money by having in-house mediation and good mental health services for kids and families. Emphasis on good and effective, okay? And this is a way to get the conversation starting, and people like watching movies. So again, you're not asking them to read a thick book, you're not asking them to go to a seminar, you're asking them to host a movie night, and you can have popcorn with it. So we will be training people. We're also opening up a new portal. People want to volunteer with specific things you can do to volunteer. We are super excited about this. So next week we'll be launching this program on our live video chat. And again, it's just a launch. If you want to get the training, you're going to have to sign up. You're also going to have to sign a code of conduct, which says you will never, ever, ever, ever post anything about your ex on social media or anywhere public ever again. It says you'll never be angry, you'll never use foul language. Even if someone says, I really don't like the idea of the film, we won't show it, you say, thank you, here's a brochure. If you change your mind, let me know, or let me circle back with you in a few months. It's not about getting angry. And you can't get angry because if you're accused of, the reason you can't see your kids is because you're accused of being angry. You have to be calm and cool like a cucumber. So this might not be for everybody, but we have 20,000 followers on the Erasing Family Facebook page and a lot more on Instagram and Twitter. If we could get 10% of those, that's 2,000 people, to each arrange 5 screenings, that's 10,000 screenings in North America and Europe right there. That would be amazing. That would be groundbreaking. And the film is going to come out in early 2019. So if we can spend all summer and fall working on this, that means when the film comes out, boom, we are ready to screen. It's just a matter of logistics, and we're just going to be sending the film over the internet, so that won't be that hard. So I'm so excited about this. Again, a shout out to simplyparent.org. Go there if you're looking for resources. They have a great magazine that if you join, you will give them. And so the slogan that everyone likes so far is uniting erased families. But again, let's think about this. We can think about this. We don't have to settle on anything, but this is going to be a short chat tonight. So thank you for all the people who've supported. A shout out to all of our donors who are listening today, like Elvin, like Rick Tobin, and all the other people out there. We so appreciate this. Oh, and some other good news. We realized that what's missing is that there is help for parents, maybe not enough, but there's nothing out there for kids. So when the film comes out, we're going to work to make sure that there is a text line or helpline of some sort that kids, and by kids I mean teenagers and young adults, can access for emotional support. Now, it's not going to be a text line where you can solve someone's problems, but it's kind of like how there's helplines for suicide prevention, for eating disorders, for domestic violence. It can just be an ear to listen to let the kids know they can reach out to the other family, help them work through some issues, see if they can get some mental health, triage. And it might not be perfect, but right now there really is nothing for these kids. So if your kid wanted to reach out for someone for help, it's very hard for them. You know, school counseling services are overwhelmed. So we feel that it's very important that when the film gets out into the world, that we're able to provide some concrete tools to the families. So thank you so much. If you haven't already, we're updating our website. Go there, erasingfamily.org, and you can make a tax-deductible donation for our film fund and impact campaign. You can share your story. Click on Share Your Story and share it. We are using a lot of the videos in our film. We're finishing up the film, so we need them right away. And I'm making an open plea to get more diverse voices on there. So we need African Americans, Latinos, Blacks, Afro-Latinos, folks of Asian descent, Native Americans, gay, lesbian, bisexual, queer, trans folks out there who can't see their kids. We want to hear from everybody because this is an issue that impacts everybody. And it knows no geographical bound, it knows no economic bound, racial, religious bound. So as much diversity as we can get out there, the more powerful our message will be. So thank you so much, and if you're just joining us, you can always watch the complete video on our videos page on our Facebook page, and also about a day later it goes on to our resources page on our website. So remember, erasingfamily.org to donate, make tax-deductible donation. We really need your help to finish the film and make an impact campaign and get this hotline started for kids, and also to share your story. And if everybody can do one thing right now, share this video on your wall. If you know a group that works on this issue, a Facebook group, share the video right now. Take the link, send it in an email to somebody. If we can all share this video, that is so simple. It's just a click, and that helps all of these parents learn about what we're doing and hopefully get some tips and see what we're up to. So if there's nothing else you do today, give me a thumbs up, a little heart, or write down I'll share if you're going to share, because That is the easiest thing you can do, and it means so much. Our last video got 220 shares before it was done. Let's see if we can top that record and get the message out there that all children have the right to know and love both parents, their entire families, and to have their identity protected even after divorce or separation. Thank you. Have a great week. See you next week, and spread the word that we're starting our ambassador program. The more ambassadors we get, the more screenings we get, the more people who learn about this. The more people who learn about this, the more we'll create a critical mass to make sure that the next generation will say, family courts did what? That's crazy. They don't do that anymore. The same way we look at, domestic violence, the same way, oh, hi, Henry. The same way we look at domestic violence, the same way we look at, smoking with an infant in your arms, the same way we look at, hanging people in public. We will relegate erased families to the history books. I want to make sure this is the last generation this happens to, but we can't do that without your help, without people spreading the message. So if you join late, go to erasingfamily.org tomorrow, click on resources, you can watch the complete video. Go to, in a few minutes, this video will be on our resources, on our video page under Facebook. Please share on your wall, please share with other groups, and I'm so happy to see you. And remember, next week we're launching our ambassador program, which will give you the skills to take this message into your community in a positive and fun way. Have a great week. Bye.